Hello, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Christine and I like to read dark and disturbing things. Today's video is going to be all about what I want to read this fall. To me, fall is September, October, November, and September 1st is right around the corner. I have about 50 books or more to talk about, so let's get into it. So what I did was I just shopped my shelves. I walked around, not just my spooky shelves in the other room, but these shelves here, and anything that kind of spoke fall to me, cozy, crisp air, crunchy leaves, spooky things, I pulled it off the shelf and put it into piles. Some things might not fit 100%, but I tried to make a couple different categories. So I have a middle grade, I'm just surrounded by books here. I have a middle grade stack. I have a dark academia stack. I have a spooky stack. I have a witchy stack. I have just a fall vibe stack, and I have a cozy stack. I am not going to go into too much about what these books are about because we would be here all day, and I most likely do not know anymore. I do really like to just kind of, I obviously read the synopsis before I pick up a book, but then I forget. It's enough to know that I'm interested in the book, and then I like to go in pretty blind. So I do have 3 books I'm going to start off with. They kind of in their own category because they're like camping themes, and I still feel like I'm not a camper, okay? I like indoor plumbing. I like the comforts of the home, and I still consider September like camping time because I feel like in movies, it's always like a lot cooler at night, not super hot. So anyway, I have a few camping books. One of them I just recently got from my Nightworms package. This is a new release called Heads Will Roll by Josh Winning. I'm sure you've been seeing this all over the place, and it has something to do with adults going to like a summer camp to kind of get away from the rest of the world, and looks like it's gonna be a slasher. And then I have 2 more books that were from Twisted Retreat boxes in the past, and I have really neglected to read these, and I think because they are always so gorgeous that I have them on my shelves kind of like this so I could see the fun edges, but then I kind of forget that I need to read them. So this one is called The Camp by Nancy Bush, and it has a lot of fun back on there. And lastly, I'm pretty sure I got this one around this time last year, is The Woodkin by Alexander James. And it has like some tents there. It has a fun campfire. I don't know anything what they're about, and we're just gonna go with it. Which stack should I do next? Let's do my YA, I think it's all middle grade actually, middle grade stack. So the first one, I can't remember if I found this in a free little library or maybe I got it in like a lot when I bought like some used books, but this is a #1 Samantha Slade Monster Sitter. And I don't know, this book looks old. It says it's nearly Halloween at the Brown's house and things are getting out of hand. Oh, so this book is from 1987. I don't remember seeing these as a kid, and it says that this is a series, although I don't think they're all monsters because this is #1, but #2 is Confessions of a Teenage Frog. #3 is Our Friend Public Nuisance #1, and #4 is The Terrors of Rock and Roll. So I don't know that they're all creepy, but this looks pretty cute, and I want to check it out. Next up is a series I've been wanting to get to forever. I don't know why I haven't. I just haven't made it a priority for some reason. And I actually own all 4 in the series. And this is the first one called Small Spaces by Katherine Arden. Katherine Arden is the author of the Bear and the Nightingale series. She also wrote The Warm Hands of Ghosts, which actually should probably be in these stacks, but we're not adding. And if I didn't say, I do not think I'm going to read all of these books, obviously. I mean, I will eventually, but these are just piles of possibilities. This one has a whole series that looks super fun. The second one is Dead Voices. The third one is Dark Waters. And the fourth one is Empty Smiles, which has a creepy clown on it. But this one has this cool scarecrow on it. Oh, nice. There's a buy one, get one half off sticker on the inside for some reason. I've heard lots of great things about this series, so I'm excited to check that out. Next is a book I think I also picked up as a buy one, get one half off because there's a sticker on here from Barnes & Noble. Let's just take that off. Pretty sure I bought this last year, but by the time I got it, I just never got to it. But this cover screams fall to me. It's called Ravenfall. And we have all of the, we've got like the raven. Is that a ghost? Little ghost up here, cats in the trees. This all looks amazing. And this is the first in a series. Don't know what it's about, but on the back it says she's got psychic abilities. It's got this cover. That's all I know. Next is a book that I meant to read earlier in the year and didn't get to. And I don't think it's necessarily a spooky read. I think that it is more of a heartfelt read, but this is Dear Mothman by Robin Gao, and I believe that it is about a boy who is writing to Mothman, kind of like a diary. Okay, so it says that this is about a trans boy whose best friend passes away, and he just has a lot of feelings he needs to get out, so he decides to write to his favorite cryptid, and I hope that Mothman is there for him. Next up is the second in the Bunnicula series because I read the first one last year. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I was very surprised that I loved it as much as I did, but this is the second in the series called Holiday Inn. And we have our buddy, the dog and the cat. What were their names? Harold and Chester. I just thought it was very entertaining and funny. Next, this is called Spooksville, and there's 3 books in one, and they're by Christopher Pike. I don't remember picking this up, but it probably was from like Book of the Month, or sorry, it was probably from Book Outlet or something, but it looks like this has 3 books in it. One's called The Secret Path, one's called The Howling Ghost, and one is called The Haunted Cave. You guys will have to let me know if you've read this. The next one I definitely got from Book Outlet, and I just got it because of this amazing cover, Too Scared to Sleep. And I'm a little curious because there's a QR code on the back. Okay, 2 more in the, I better start going faster, huh? Or we'll be here all day. 2 more. This was completely a cover buy, but I remember when I showed it off, someone in the comments said this is a really good book. This is The Night Gardener, and another cover buy is A Gray Mist Fair. Looking very spooky. I love it. Next, I am going to do my Dark Academia stack because there's only 4 books. And I don't know if these 100% fit in, but they're there. The first one is The Starling House. It's got the word house. It's got ravens on the cover. It's got gold keys. It's gotta be, right? Right? The next book is the second in a series. I read the first one a few years ago. It was called The Library of the Dead, and I remember listening to it, and this takes place in Edinburgh, and the main character and the narrator for the main character had this amazing Scottish accent, which I absolutely loved. It was about a young girl named Ropa, and I think she's a teenager, and she can speak to the dead. There is like a place that the dead go, like the in-between stage where they have unfinished business or they have a message they want to pass by. So it is her business. Like this is like a thing that happens where she will take money, she'll charge money to pass along your last message. And that is how she's trying to help make ends meet for her family who are not doing too well. I just thought she had such a funny sense of humor, and hearing her kind of swear or use certain slang words in her Scottish accent was just wonderful. I don't know why it's taken me so long, but I really do want to get to the second book. And there's 3 books in the series as far as I know. And this is Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave this book, that first book, 5 stars, and it was kind of like when I was first getting back into reading. So I don't know that it will hold up, but I really liked it. This is a book that I've been wanting to read forever. I was so interested when it came out, and then I think I kind of just heard meh reviews about it. But this is The Book Eaters. I believe this is about people who eat knowledge from books. And it has a cool pages there. And last but not least is a book that I pre-ordered because I loved A Dowry of Blood so much, and then I just never got to it. Again, I think it's because I wasn't hearing like people freaking out about how much they love this book, but this is An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson, and I hope I love it. All right, let's get into my witchy books. Now, I have quite a few witchy books, and I keep telling myself that I want to like do a reading vlog of just witchy things, and then I just never do it, and I don't know why. This is the year. The first 2 are actually middle grade books, but I put them in this stack since they had to do with witches. And the first one is 13 Witches. This is book 1 in a series. I don't remember what it's about, but it's called The Memory Thief, and it's got young witches. What else do I need to know? The same with this one. This one is called The Witchlings, and I'm pretty sure that there is a sequel to this one as well. I just really love the artwork, and it was kind of giving me like anime vibes, and I just thought it might be a cozy fun time. The next book I have, I believe, is actually kind of like a thriller. I could be wrong, but I've never read from this author before, and I've heard good things about C.J. Cook. This is The Lighthouse Witches. This was like a total random buy one day when I was in Barnes & Noble like a year ago, and yeah, here it sits. The next one you've probably heard me talk about a few times because I was sent this by the author so kindly, and I don't know what my problem is. I really do want to read this, and I don't know, like, it just keeps falling off my TBR because I'm never fast enough. But this is also the first in a series called The Trailer Park Witches. This is book 1. It's called They're Cursed Like You. I really love the artwork on this. This I 100% will read before the end of the year. I promise. Next is another book I think I got from Twisted Retreat, and I think at the time I'm like, I'm gonna save that for when it is witchy season, and it's Legacy Witches by Cass K. It has a map of Salem on the inside. All right, 3 more witch books that I have in my pile. This I randomly bought on Pango a little while back because it's just the cover was really calling to me, as well as the title, and I had a few of you comment that this is a really good book, and that is The Manning Tree Witches by A.K. Blakemore. And then I got this one last year, I think, in like a Caffeine and Legends Spooky Edition box, and this is The Great Witch of Brittany. And last but not least, this one I feel like might be cozy as well. I recently purchased this. I think this was a Fairy Loot. Yes. I don't subscribe to Fairy Loot anymore, but this was just too much for me to pass up. This is The Honey Witch by Sydney Shields, and it is just gorgeous. I believe that it is a sapphic witch story, and it was in like a cottagecore themed box, I suppose, so that's why I think it's going to have cozy vibes as well. Since we're talking about cozy things, I'm just going to get to my cozy stack. This first one, I don't know if it has anything to do with fall, but I've been wanting to get to this series for a while. I have the first 3 books in the series. This is Shauna McGuire's Every Heart a Doorway. This is the first in the, what is it called, Wayward Children series. I have heard nothing but great things about this series. These are very short, but I hear that they are lovely, and I believe it's a little bit like, why can I not think of things? I think it's a little bit like that children's series where they go in their tree house I don't know. I never read it, but my son had some of them. Anyway, I think that they go through different doorways and it takes them like a portal to a different part of the world or a different time period. I think that's what it's about. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I really do want to get to this, and I think that this would be like a cozy read. The next one I got from a Once Upon a Book Club box, like a Halloween edition, I think like 2 years ago. And this is Midnight Spells Murder, a happy campy mystery. And it just has all kinds of Halloween stuff on the cover. So I will probably try to do this one closer to October. These two, I don't know why I thought they were the same author, but they're not. They have kind of similar vibes to me. These were random, like, used book picks. The first one is Your Coffin or Mine by Kimberly Ray. So I think this might be like a contemporary romance, but make it spooky. And the other one is What a Ghoul Wants by Victoria Laurie. And I think they're just both going to be books that like don't take themselves too seriously, kind of more of a cozy read. This next one is The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. And this, I believe, is like a, not an official, but it is someone named Mary Jekyll, which obviously makes me think of Jekyll and Hyde, but then also Mary Shelley. And she is working together with Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson to solve some kind of mystery that I think has something to do with Frankenstein. So I think it's just a bunch of fandoms kind of put together. Again, let me know if you've read this one. I think this was just like a random pickup a while back. This one I hauled not too long ago. This is called Dreadful, and it looked like a cozy, kind of humorous type book. And then these two I put on here because they were Aardvark and Book of the Month picks, and they're fairly short and they have books on the cover. This one I think is more of a thriller kind of. It's called How Can I Help You? And I've heard good things about this, and it has like a library card on fire. To me, a library is a cozy time. And the other one, I've heard good things about this one as well. This is called The Wishing Game, and it's giving me cozy vibes. All right, I'm gonna try to be fast. I have 2 more stacks. I'll do the bigger one first. This was anything that gave me, it could have just been the cover, it could have been the title, something that made me think about fall. And this one was definitely the cover. This is God Killer by Hannah Kaner. This is a fantasy book, and I don't know that it has anything to do with fall. I just see this creature in the forest and this gorgeous cover, and I have been wanting to make my way through a lot of my fantasy books that I've had on my shelves for a while from Fairy Loot, or probably Fairy Loot, or Illumicrate possibly, and I really want to get to some of those. Here's another Book of the Month pick that I had to have because of this freaking stunning cover, I think like everybody else. And this is Wayward by Amelia Hart. And this just has all the fall vibes on the cover. I've heard good things. I don't remember what it's about, but I have heard good things about it. Here is another book. Oh, this was an Illumicrate book. This is called The Whispering Dark. I have no idea what it's about, but it has this flower with skulls in it, which to me is kind of gothic-y fall vibes. So again, like I said, I want to get through some of those books I've had on my shelf. This one is Hemlock Island by Kelly Armstrong. I got this last year as a Once Upon a Book Club, like their Halloween edition. And I think the other one I did already read, and I did like a vlog on where I opened the gifts as I went along. That was Let's Go Play at the Adams. So I probably will do the same thing for this. It's just taken me a while to get to this. This one is all about the cover. Again, it's called The Bone Orchard. Secrets Grow in the Dark. We've got some mushrooms. We've got some flowers. We've got some bones. The back just says, Charm is a traitor, a witch, a whore, a prisoner, a survivor, and now she must also solve the Emperor's murder. So this is a fantasy book that is probably going to lean on the dark side. This one was the cover, and the title is Dark Things I Adore by Katie Latari. I do not remember what this is about at all. I definitely got this in some kind of book box. If you read it, let me know. And last but not least in this section is a book that I added to my book of the month pick so quickly based on this freaking cover. Thistlefoot. This is like a Baba Yaga retelling, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a lot about. Oh, this is from 2022, October 2022. Okay, yeah, I got a lot of books. This one's a little bit chunky. I think it's gonna be fun. It's like a modern fantasy retelling of that, and I'm not really too familiar with the story. All I know is that it kind of gives me Hansel and Gretel vibes, where this house is a witch, is a house, I don't know, and it eats kids, I think. All right, last but not least, I have like my little spooky stack. You already know that I read tons of horror, and so I tried not to just put anything that was just horror related in this stack, because I read horror all year long, and I'm sure I still will read lots of that stuff, but I tried to pick things that I've been wanting to get to or kind of fit the theme of Halloween. So the first one is called Spook Night by David Robbins. I don't think this had the best of reviews, but how was I going to say no to this cover? This cover is freaking amazing. The next two books are books that I keep saying I want to get to and I never do. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this, and I think there's either a show or a movie now that I have not heard great things about, but that is The Watchers by A.M. Shine. This, I believe, is like a ghost story, and this is The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. I've heard absolutely amazing things about this, and I know there's a movie that I hear is great too, so I would love to both read and watch that this spooky season. This one, I think I got in Nightworms, or no, I got this in Abominable Book Club, but it came kind of too late for me to read it in time for Halloween, and that is All Hallows by Christopher Golden. I've heard mixed things. Some people seem to love this, some people really don't, but I want to give it a shot closer to Halloween. And then this one I know is a horror book, and I don't know how like spooky it is, but it has something to do with like a house. And this is Tell Me I'm Worthless by Alison Rumfitt. And I'd really like to get to this because I'm hearing great things about her other book called Brainworms, but I really want to read this one first. And the last book, I feel so out of breath. The last book, I was also excited when I got this one, and I never got around to it, and that is A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. This is supposed to be somewhat adjacent to The Haunting of Hill House. I do have a friend that read this. I know she had really high hopes for this one, and it did not live up to her hopes. So I think I shied away from reading it for a while, but I want to give it a chance. I'm going to go in with low expectations. I mean, I don't know how you can compare yourself to The Haunting in Hill House, but here we go. Whew, all right, I said all that in under 30 minutes. Go me. So like I said, there's like 50 books here, probably more. I'm not going to read all of these in the next 3 months, but I'd like to try. I'd like to try to get a lot of them done. These are just ones that I want to kind of keep pulled off my shelf. Hopefully just seeing them sitting around will remind me that I really want to read them. If there's any favorites that you see here that you're like, oh my God, you have to get to that 100%, please let me know in the comments below. The same with any movies that you think I should watch. I am someone who has not watched a lot of movies like in life, like not since I was a kid, and I'm slowly starting to get back into it, and most of my movie recommendations I get from you guys. Oh, I did start a Letterbox account, so I'm gonna put that in my links down below, like where you could follow me, and then I can see what you're watching and then maybe steal some of your ideas and watch them for myself. All right, that is all I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching and talking about a ridiculous amount of books, but it is the life of a book lover. I will see you guys in the next video, and stay spooky.